Welcome, friends. It is another edition of Unlock, the world's #1 Xbox show. We are here at IGN, and we have got a lot of Xbox stuff to talk about this week. Coming up on this week's edition of the show, we have we're going to actually kick it off by talking movies a little bit, but it's movies you'll be particularly interested in. Ready Player One, a lot of video game stuff in there, including Marty Sleeva's favorite, the Battletoads, make an appearance, as well as the Tomb Raider movie that is about to release as well. Plus, State of Decay 2, we've got more on that as part of our ongoing IGN First. I want to talk A Way Out a little bit. Had Joseph Fares in here to play the game with. More Sea of Thieves to talk about. We've got Black Ops 4, a Splinter Cell rumor, which is giving me heart palpitations. We've got more Tomb Raider on the game side. The creative director from Halo 4 has a new studio. Just an unfathomable amount of stuff to get to this week. So I want to get right to it. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. To my right this week is Brandon Tyrell.
Hello.
And to my left, as usual, here, Alana Pierce. I adore that shirt so much.
Thank you. For anyone not watching the video version, it's Mugman, who I specifically got because Cuphead was sold out, because obviously. The Cuphead one's really cute. It's like just the same, but the red around the collar and everything. It's yeah, they're awesome.
It's like the Luigi of Cuphead.
I have to, does your boyfriend have the complimentary?
I could get him one. He
Right?
doesn't play a ton of games or a ton of indie games, and I made him play Cuphead, and he has this thing where he's obsessed with completing things.
Yeah.
So when he's playing Cuphead, I won't talk to him for several hours. But it's great because we'll swap the controller when we die, and it's a lot of fun. But he will not speak to me, and he'll just be like, "Oh!" It's a lot of fun to play with him because it's like, well, he's helping me get through this. So
Well, there
it's
is
good.
a co-op mode.
Yeah, I don't think it'd work.
That wouldn't go well?
He's
Maybe
too,
the second
like
playthrough.
ooh. I just punched the microphone. But yeah, I mean, you know, from
Easy.
like playing with Lily on the stream the other day, like things are harder in co-op, I think.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, like
So-
Mugman and Cuphead just look so similar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's
That
obviously
too.
intentional, but it's just like, no.
Also,
I can't
you
tell
have
where
to
I
like
am.
worry about staying on the same screen as the other character. So I actually really like the system of us swapping the controller when we die because we don't get
Yeah.
too frustrated and you're like really championing for the other person and watching how they do things. But
Very true.
yeah, it's
And
fun.
Miranda Sanchez
Hello.
on the end over here. Always good to see you. So let's actually start with Miranda because I want to talk about Tomb Raider, the film embargo lifted. I know you came in here angry today.
Yeah.
So let's just get through that and then we'll get on to happier topics.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that Tomb Raider has helped contribute to this mood.
Randy, you being angry is one of
so
my
bad.
favorite things though because you're like, yeah, and it's still just so sweet.
I have to say, I actually hadn't spoken to you since you saw the film. Like, I saw the review. I didn't know anything about what people had thought about
Right.
the movie here until I looked at your review and I was like, wow, that bad, huh?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like I've been in a hole for the past week or so between Tomb Raider coverage and Artifact coverage, which you can please go check out on IGN.com because we did a lot of cool stuff with that. It's just been so much work, and now I'm finally kind of done. Like, I still have Tomb Raider stuff to do, and I'm really relieved just to have it out there to kind of start talking about what went wrong with this adaptation.
So you give it a 5.5,
Yeah.
a mediocre 0.5 out of
is-
10 on the IGN scale.
It is a film that exists.
Five
That's
is
what I
not
keep
bad.
saying.
That is the
No,
thing we need
it's
to
me-
mention.
it's
Five
mediocre.
means
Like,
mediocre.
That is
There-
literally our definition.
There are things that go very well in Tomb Raider, but there's also a lot that holds it back from being a competent film. And like all the adaptation stuff aside, like gameplay stuff aside, Lara as a character aside, this movie just doesn't hold up well because it hinges on a relationship that's not developed well and what it trades in. So it tries to pull things from the 2013 game, which I loved a whole lot. She goes to Yamatai.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of it
There's
just in the
Himiko.
trailers. In the trailers alone, there are a number
Yeah.
of exact shots, which
Shot for
Mark
shot.
Medina made little comparison
Yeah.
videos.
Cool.
And so I was worried, and maybe you can, even though the movie's mediocre anyway, after I saw that, I went, well, I hope they don't follow the story too closely because by the end of the game, the 2013 Tomb Raider story is real stupid.
I agree.
I don't know. I liked how weird it got. I love supernatural,
Spooky.
weird
Hated it.
I hated
adventures.
it
The whole
so
time I
much.
was like, please be science-based.
Love that.
To its credit, Crystal Dynamics totally fixed that. The Rise of the Tomb Raider story was way better.
Just 100% above board kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I like I'm the same boat with
Well, it's
Miranda.
fun.
I like the Indiana Jones, like it's a straight movie, right? And then at the end, like there's some cool
No.
stuff that makes you wonder, is there more out there?
They
I
didn't
like that.
explain it well enough for me, so it frustrated me. But I
But,
still enjoyed the game.
but
All right.
you mentioned sort of there's a scene in the 2013 game that really caused a lot of, I guess, eye rolling and a lot of I don't know quite what the word I'm looking for is, which is early in the game when she has to kill someone for the first time, she's devastated by it, and then 5 minutes later she's just mass murdering everyone
with an ice pick.
That's
even
ludonarrative dissonance.
Yeah, that's done even more so in the film of just like oh no, I killed a man. Oh look, there's another man to kill. Gotta go. And so, but I mean, she doesn't do that exactly. And I'm gonna try to talk about this without spoiling things.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are a lot of similarities. I think some of the scenes they picked directly to lift from the game were good. But ultimately, the biggest problem is Lara as a character doesn't stand out very well. She does not care about archaeology. She's not an archaeologist. Her main motive to go to Yamatai is to find out what happened to her father. Because in this world, he may or may not be alive. Whereas in the game, he's definitively dead. And so that changes so much about what this movie is. So it stops being about Lara and learning how she comes about loving adventure and that part of the archaeology, and more so about her relationship with her father, which isn't given good weight in the beginning. Like, sure, you don't need to say, hey, obviously parent and child care about each other, but everything that you're associated with her father before she goes out to look for him is negative. So he just left her a lot. Every scene they showed of her flashbacks, he's just leaving.
I'm laughing because this is the exact reason I hate Alan Wake, you guys. I don't care about the wife. He hates her. Like,
yeah,
this is the exact same reason.
It's hard to buy into that, right? It's like, especially knowing that they traded in this for what made Lara awesome in the games, right?
It sounds like she's not even a Tomb Raider, really.
Yeah, she's not. She's just there to find her dad. And there's only one tomb in the game, in the movie, which is fine because it's a movie and there's less. But that adventure gets kind of lost because of this focus on their family, and I don't buy into it very well.
Is the action cool at least?
Yes, that is the biggest highlight for me. Is like the action. Like Alicia Vikander just is so cut, guys. She's like ripped. It is ridiculous. I was just like, oh, goals. But,
well, I mean, Lara Croft has nothing if not upper body strength.
Yes,
it's like, I'm fine. I'm holding onto a ledge with one hand.
Goes to great lengths to prove that as well. It's just like, look how fit she is.
I think she did a lot of her own stunts as well.
Yeah, and it shows, and it's really cool. But in that, you lose a lot of her character otherwise. Like, I know she cares about her dad, who never seemed to really care about her aside from being like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave, but I'm leaving.
Daddy issues.
But then also you find out that he's lied to her kind of all her life because he was practicing archaeology in secret.
Secret archaeologist.
Lord Richard Croft in this iteration is actually in charge of Croft Holdings.
Oh, he's a business
Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, so it's like, oh,
your dad's Batman.
Great.
Well, your dad's Batman.
So
if his Batman persona was an archaeologist,
right? Yeah,
and he has
boring Batman.
Yeah, so he has a secret layer that she finds after
Batman of Academia.
Yeah, after like kind of getting a puzzle from him after signing some paperwork, kind of recognizing his death.
The part that's in the trailer.
Yeah, that you've seen a million times, and that's how she finds that he was an archaeologist. She's like, oh man, he was doing this the whole time. That's why he was gone, I guess. And that part just really made me irritated because like this is what we're supposed to buy into instead of having a fully realized Lara Croft about her and finding her love of adventure, and it's just not sold very well. And the villain's really bad. Walton Goggins, I've heard, is very good on television, but he is not good in this movie.
It's so disappointing.
It's so bad.
I'm still gonna go see it, but
yeah, I mean, like like I said, there are parts that are done really well. I think the scenes where Lara's on her own, like whether she's surviving or solving puzzles, are the highlight of the movie. And there's not a lot of that, which is a shame.
I'm totally just going to watch this on an airplane.
Yeah, I think honestly,
it's an airplane movie.
That's better. The one positive that I felt coming out of this was that I just wanted to play Tomb Raider again.
Yeah,
that was cool. Which is like, yeah, kind of.
Well, and we'll get to that actually in a little while later in the show.
Segue.
So, so it's a shame. There was a lot of, I think, optimism certainly in the gaming community for this movie.
Yeah, I was like, they could do this so well. Like, I mean, you obviously don't have to go super in depth in the story that they had from the game. Like, you have to lift that, of course, to be fit for a movie, but the way that they did that just was really disappointing.
Yeah, we had an Oscar nominee as the lead in this film, but it sounds like
was such a good movie.
Somewhat wasted. Her performance is somewhat wasted in this.
Yeah.
I have seen some people, I think it was like Greg Miller tweeted positively about it, so it could be that it's divisive as well.
Yeah, I mean, also, I don't know if other people are picking up on this, but like almost every man she meets either flirts with her, wants to kill her, or both. And it's really gross. And there's I know another thing, people will be like, no, don't whine about this, but there are so few women in the movie. And like the 2013 game did so much to change like how Lara was treated.
Didn't she have like I don't remember
Her
that game.
friends.
Her best friend, right?
Yeah, and I
the
mean,
one
like,
she's dating
that's-
as a girl.
Or a group of friends. There
That's
was
like I don't need
including a
like
couple women.
tons of women in this movie to be competent, but like if that's the way you're treating all your characters and you're not really tackling that in any significant way, then it just comes off poorly, right? And so that was
Sometimes
a
it's
big,
just cheap.
yeah, and that's just how it felt, right?
It kind of reminds me of like the female analog to James Bond, where
Yeah.
every woman is either a sexual mark or is secretly
an assassin.
an assassin who's going to kill
Yeah,
him with
and so
her thighs.
The
or
problem
whatever,
was too is just like she goes on this adventure with a guy who's having similar problems to her, and having a lost father, and
His dad is also a secret archaeologist.
no, he's just,
I really want to get back to Batman archaeologist later on in
no,
this
it's really
bit.
weird.
like we
Let's
could have a
circle
lot of
back
fun.
to that.
Yeah.
And
It belongs in a
like
museum.
even then, like when they have like a fine relationship, of course they have to show a scene where they start flirting.
Yeah.
And like in the very beginning, almost every guy flirts with her. And it's just like irritating that she can't get away with this and just be a person. Like she has to be a thing to be desired. And that's where it's just really frustrating. And like that's not like a big critical mishandling. Like that's one of the many. But that just kind of adds to everything else.
It just
that this
eroded
did
at
wrong.
your
Sure.
enthusiasm for
Yeah.
the film.
It's just exhausting, honestly. So
All right, so
that's what I thought.
if
That's
you're
great.
planning on trying to see a good video game based film in the theaters this weekend, Tomb Raider sounds like it may not be the one. What about our other contender? Let's go to door number 2, Ready Player One, based on the book.
By
that-
Ernest Cline.
Yes, DeLorean owner Ernest Cline.
Yeah, his DeLorean was like parked outside of the event in Austin. It was
Wow.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have not read the book. I don't believe you have not read the book either
Correct.
from reading your
I
review.
decided not to read the book because I figured most people who go see this movie won't have read the book, and I didn't want to have that influence my review. So my idea was like, I will review it how majority of filmgoers will see it,
Yep.
and then I'm going to read the book and I'm going to re-review it. It won't be cold a review. It'll be like a feature where it'll be like, and here's how I feel about it after having read the book, basically.
I read Jurassic Park after seeing the movie, and now I love both of them so much.
It works better that way a lot of the time. Yeah.
At least it did for me in that case. But
Yeah.
there was, and I think it's fair to say we're kind of in the opposite situation heading into Ready Player One, whereas with Tomb Raider, I feel like there was generally a lot of optimism towards that film. And
Yeah.
Ready Player One,
I thought it was going to be bad.
I think it was kind of an internet punching bag. You know, the parody movie posters that they did ahead of time, really,
So
a week or two
awful.
ago, went over very poorly. And
Some of that is annoying me a little, like the amount of people that I'm seeing that I respect who are being like, this movie's going to be garbage. It almost seems like bullying.
Right, you
like,
get you get that dog pile, pitchfork, and
Yeah.
torch mob mentality going on the internet, and it's from your review, it sounded like you came away. I mean, not blown away, but you had a good time with the film.
That's exactly. It's an action comedy that is fun to watch. It's like I enjoyed it. It's surprisingly very funny. Like some of the best things that they do in the entire movie is they cut between what's happening in the real world and what's happening in the Oasis, which is the virtual world, and it'll show. Say, for example, like someone unleashes a weapon that like makes people react in a really physical way, and then it cuts to how they look in real life. They're all just like moving like really strangely, and it does that a lot, and it's really funny. That's like really
if you die
good
in the
physical
Matrix,
comedy.
you die in real life kind of thing?
Sort of, but they don't. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's the physical comedy is really good, and I want to say the villain is like particularly good because he's in the book supposedly a generic bad guy who's just like awful and cheesy, whereas in this he's also genuinely funny. Like there's a part I don't want to spoil any of it because some of the cameos are
it's
incredible.
all reference, a ton of references.
Yeah.
right?
It is.
It's like
but
references
one
the
of them
movie.
is just so good. And even going into it, again, this was a thing in the trailers that I was like, I'm probably not going to like this. This is like nerd bait that I'm going to find cheesy and played out. And some of it was, like some of it's just like cameos that don't really mean anything. So you can be like, ooh, it's Harley Quinn. But some of the one particularly that I kind of want to tell everyone not to read reviews because after I published mine, I read a bunch, just spoil it. And it's something that you would never expect that is just so incredible for 15 minutes that everyone was just like, oh my God, I can't believe they got this property and did this with it.
Only read the
so
IGN review. By
I would
Alana
never
Pierce.
say that, but in this case, I'm like, literally
saying
don't
it.
read any others. Like, really
Sometimes
don't.
it's nice to read like multiple reviews after a movie. Like that's usually
I
what
do
I
that.
do.
Right. Yeah. I would just like some of them. It was even weird reading other movie reviews, just explicitly explain things that are really cool in great detail. And the reason that one thing is cool is A, because of the property and the way that they show it, but it's also that it ties into the plot. And those are the cameos that are really good. It's like when it actually means something. The ones that are just like throwaway are just like, okay, I get it. You just wanted to get a laugh from me. Like a character sinking in lava and giving the thumbs up.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are like, oh.
Hey, remember this?
Yeah. And there is a lot of that. And some of it's really cheesy. I wrote this in my review, but the line that I thought was like one of the worst things I've ever heard in a movie was a fanboy knows a hater. And it's completely
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet.
100% serious. Like he's not being
Painful.
It's completely unironic. I was just like, oh no.
That's-
And there are a couple of things like that. Like it's probably the first serious use of the word noob in the past decade. He's like, yeah, you're a noob. And it's like, oh, God, don't
How
do
dare
that.
I heard that recently somewhere. I was just like, guys,
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So there is stuff like that. Some
What
of the,
year is this film set in? 2045?
Yeah, but it seems like it was written at like the MySpace era.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that old, but that's what it
Yeah.
seems like it's stuck in sometimes. But some of the character stuff is really interesting. For the most part, it's just the Oasis is really cool. It's the CGI is incredible and constantly interesting, and the action is really engrossing, and it does feel really triumphant. And they do a lot of different things with it, like playing with time, playing with space, playing with gravity. Like it's really cool. But the real world, it doesn't answer any of the interesting questions about it, and it is really interesting. Like the way the Oasis works, you don't know how it funds the economy or the influence it has if the bad guys get control of it. The book obviously answers those questions, but most people won't read the book, so it's like the movie just fails to do that.
Doesn't involve blockchains.
It might. It seems kind of like it is similar
What
to
are
blockchain.
blockchains? But yes.
It's not too far off, but it's even the characters, none of them have any development, none of them have any arcs. There's a lot of stuff where like people in the real world just manage to find each other and get around really quickly, and you're like, how did you get where were you? What?
here again?
Like, how are you all just like driving to each other really quickly? None of this makes any sense. And the bad guys just repeatedly are like, oh, I sent out drones to find them. You're like, okay, you can, all right, we get it. You keep just sending out drones to find their car. Like, I understand. You're just one trick pony, really. So there's a lot of dumb stuff in the real world. It really lets you down. But the cameos are satisfying. And I really did not expect to be the kind of person who was like, oh,
Yeah.
the
so
things
good
that
to
I love
hear.
are on screen.
Oh,
Aw.
those hippos
I
are
think
hungry.
That's the fear, right? It's just
Yeah.
that it's cheap and it comes off as like selling off a thing that we love so much.
Yeah.
In
That's what I was
in that.
worried
and So
about.
it's really nice to hear that from you.
Yeah, and like one thing is like I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's a Gears of War weapon that just when it's shown, I was just like, and like you see Spartans, and those are in the trailer, and it's like just like a lot of stuff that I'm sure there was one series of references that I didn't understand at all in one part that I was just like,
Was it anime?
it was I believe like 80s bands.
Oh, okay, I don't get that either.
All right.
So there was just like
Now
this,
you're talking
this
my
little,
language.
I
this
only
little
get a-
segment that I was just like,
Duran Duran.
well, I know who Michael Jackson is, but the rest I don't. Duran Duran is referenced to. It's just
Okay, I
like,
got that one.
I'm heading to this movie just like ready to be angry at the
Yeah.
use of the DeLorean in the film, and I hope I don't.
So the
end up feeling that way.
DeLorean doesn't. I've read paragraphs from the book where it's like, yeah, my DeLorean was sitting next to my X-wing and it was the coolest thing, and like I put this on it and it was rad, and it's like just seems terrible. But the DeLorean's just like kind of there and he loves
Just
it.
there, like in the
Yeah.
trailers. Yeah.
He just drives it. Like it's. I don't think they use it badly. So the way that I would approach this, and I do want to say, as I've been saying to a lot of people, I made a vlog about this, that the theater I was in, Spielberg was there. Everyone was so excited to be there. It was a premiere and it was public facing. So people were clapping and cheering. And it's totally possible that seeing it in that positive environment had an influence on me. That obviously when you're writing a review, you try to cut through that bias, but I have no idea if it had a subconscious effect on me. And if I see it again, I won't like it as much. So I really don't know. And that's a weird thing about movies, as I was saying to Miranda before. The first time I saw The Last Jedi, I adored it, and then every time after that, I liked it slightly less.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like it's a thing. So I don't know. But what I want to say to people is, A, don't read any reviews except mine. B, go in not expecting an amazing film, because even at the start of our screening, Spielberg said, "This is not a film that I've made; it's a movie," and it is that. It's just fun popcorn flick that's funny and dumb, and if you can get through some of the stuff that's like silly and you don't want any depth, then I
I
think
wish
you'll have a
Tomb
really good
Raider
time.
would have done that.
Yeah.
Because they try to take itself so seriously in that relationship and kind of
You're probably right.
a lot of that action fall by the wayside sometimes in favor of those relationship moments.
Yeah. I think the best thing about Ready Player One is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. Is that it knows what to make fun of, and even like the bad guys, they have these like little drones who are like just a bunch of nerds who are trying to figure out all of these puzzles in the Oasis, and some of the lines those people say, because even though they're bad guys, they're still like stoked to see everything like coming together, and it's like that's kind of what our office is like, honestly, and like seeing that kind of stuff is like just all these happy nerds being like, oh, they're playing Atari, and it's just like that. It's very cute. It's very cute.
So did you ever get used to the protagonist avatars?
I think the avatars are ugly as
They're
hell.
awful. Because like you see Spartans and then you see them, and I'm just like, what's happened?
Yeah, the main character Percival kind of looks like he looks like a Final Fantasy character crossed with a sim, crossed with an alien a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any of them look great, but it didn't annoy me too much.
Okay.
The facial animations are really good, and all of the parts where the acting is in the Oasis is quite good too.
Okay.
The worst character is one of the bad guys who basically does like the lead bad guy's dirty work and like continues this weird thing, or it's the same in Blade Runner where it's just like angry sidekick woman who never smiles. Then it's like she's just very serious all the time, just like walks really stiff and like doesn't make any jokes. And it was like she's basically just a Terminator. Why didn't they just make her Terminator?
She's a tool.
She could just be Terminator.
To be fair, she is kind of just a tool. Like they made her for one purpose.
I think they maybe made her so overacty because maybe they wanted it to be comical, but that's the only performance that I was like, this is so rigid.
really
It's
Yeah.
just weird. But all the others, like the main guy, Ty Sheridan, there are a couple of close-ups on his face that are like a little bit silly. And the first, I want to say 10 minutes, but I could be exaggerating, of the movie, it's just like B-roll with VO, which I didn't find a right place to mention in my review, and most people won't care, but it's just exposition. The first 10 minutes goes from...
Oh, so it's like the narrator setting up the world.
If you've seen the trailer,
Yeah.
it's the
Welcome to
exact,
the Oasis.
The exact stuff that's in the trailer is in the actual movie. That's not just trailer VO. So it's just like, this is the Oasis. Everyone loves it here. And then it cuts to explaining what the challenge that they're all going after is. And it's just like a long time of people talking. And
That's strange.
yeah, it's not... I feel like they had trouble explaining things.
And they just
And,
settled on that.
but there are some things they didn't explain well enough. It's weird. So again,
That's
it's
funny.
fun movie, not a deep film.
All right. So
Some of the
that's-
references are amazing.
That's okay though.
I
Like
agree.
I feel people get so hung up on like you can't
it's got
like
to be amazing.
you
or
can't
else
like
it's
bad
worthless.
things. I love bad movies.
oh man, I love trash.
Like you were talking about Ready Player One. I just watched Pacific Rim again like 2 nights ago.
I
I'm like
actually
this
really like
movie.
Pacific Rim.
This movie is super cheesy, and some of these lines are like hard to swallow. But I really like that film
Yeah, and
because
I
it's
think
robots
if you're
punching
prepared
monsters.
for that,
yeah.
then you'll totally enjoy it. And seriously, that one cameo was like, I'm just excited to watch it again. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. And
All right, so if you go to the theater and you're at the box office trying to decide which video game influenced film to choose to see this weekend, looks like maybe Ready Player One could be the more enjoyable way to go. from the
Again,
sounds of
do
our
that.
reviewers here.
saw it in a very positive environment. Don't know. I think so.
Oh,
You had fun.
I did have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think you're a good enough to reviewer to remove that from.
I think so too, but I've never reviewed anything in an environment like that.
The
Because
thing
a
is,
game
though,
is just
that-
like you're
that
sweating on your own
does-
couch, just like
In my experience, that does wear off over time. So it's not
does,
like you
yeah.
were. It's not like you were writing your review in the theater as people are applauding. So
Yeah.
it wears off, and you.
I still
Said
feel
your
that way
piece.
about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
7.5.
All right. Well, let's move on. We got a ton to get to. That was Keeping It Real.
Yeah, we did a movie
Our
show.
episode of Keeping It Real.
Still counts.
That's REEL, our movies podcast, if you're not familiar. Which, do we still do that?
I think
think
they
we
brought
do
it
that
back
anymore.
as
think
the
it's
IGN movies
the movie show. I think it's the movie
Yeah.
show now.
Like how
Deep
we
cut
don't know that.
reference. Deep cut reference.
You can find it on IGN.
we have so many
Probably.
podcasts or shows.
We
excuse
do.
me.
We've got no shortage for sure.
We're a
We've got-
media network.
We've got a Netflix-like lineup of things. Brandon,
Hey.
State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
We continue our monthly or our just month-long coverage plan here. We had a hugely positive response to
Yeah.
that co-op footage, which was the first
sure
real
did.
proper any gameplay footage
It was
that
like
anybody's seen from
sort of the gameplay reveal. I mean, I know they showed some stuff at E3, but this is the first like solid chunk of gameplay that we've
Yeah.
shown off, and y'all loved it. So thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thanks for watching.
You
And
know.
so, if you want to just give a quick overview on, we've just put up a new video today.
Yep,
And
so-
then what's immediately coming up?
Oh man, well, immediately coming up is still in flux depending on our pipeline, our production pipeline. But today we put up a. This is not it. This is the.
That's the co-op
This is the
gameplay.
co-op
That's
trailer. If you're watching the video version right now, you can see that. Today we put up a similarly lengthed solo gameplay clip, which is just basically one of the guys at Undead Labs who was far better than either you or I.
Yeah, the
jumped in
narrative
there.
director, Richard Fogey.
Richard
played
Fogey,
himself.
yeah.
I
Good
love
guy.
watching the devs play their own games.
Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting to see what they do.
And what's funny is like you watch that video and he does not have a good time at certain points. Like it looks really hard. And I'm thinking like, man, if this guy who made the game, who like was the design director, just got murdered in the street, I don't imagine there's much hope for you or I. But yeah, it is a big chunk of solo gameplay, and it's a little inside baseball, but if you're familiar with the first State of Decay, there's a lot of like character systems and shelter systems and even inventory systems that people are really curious about. Also, you can do cool judo flips.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Does it have like combo unlocks like Dead Rising?
I think the different weapons have different sort of
Animations?
animation swings, but I don't think there are like combo systems. There are special moves, like again, if you're watching the video version, you saw the woman in the green parka just do a judo flip. That's a move that you unlock when you get her like athletics, I think it is, up to 5 stars.
Yeah, it is part of the RPG system.
But back to the 25-minute solo gameplay, there's a lot of cool menus and stuff in there. So if you're a huge fan of the series, there's a cool little brief glimpse into some of those new systems, which we will once again be diving into more later on this month.
And we also
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you guys have one of those quick go-to links? You know how we do like an IGN.
We
we don't at the moment.
Yeah, we don't.
Sorry.
For dumb reasons that I won't get into.
The service that we used to use, we no longer have it.
But we also got Undead Labs to confirm the Xbox One X enhancements.
That's right.
That State of Decay 2 will be utilizing, which is very important to a lot of players. I mean, anybody that has an X obviously wants to know.
Myself.
Especially because this will be one of the first big first party games to be hitting the X, and so you can, they've decided to basically just pump everything up, the texture details, all the effects, all that jazz. They're not doing like a 1080 60 mode. And I have to say, I just wanted to defend Undead Labs for a minute here, because I saw, not a ton, but I saw some grousing about this when we posted it saying, oh, we can't even do, I want to play in 60 frames. It's like the X, to the best of my knowledge, there isn't a single open world game that runs at 60 frames on the X. Like, because open world games are they're more technically challenging games.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be really good on the X. We didn't see it on any Xbox.
We were just running on PCs.
Just on high-octane PCs the whole time. So that is the one, sort of big caveat that we want to make clear with our coverage is.
Yeah, but those enhancements are going to, like rising tide lifts all ships, right? So every version, everybody will have the same version on the One X. So it's doubly important for like a co-op game. And I know there are co-op games out there that have those settings where you can either target performance or graphics or resolution.
Like Gears 4 does it, but that's not an open world game. Rise of the Tomb Raider does it.
Monster Hunter does it. And that's, it's got huge levels, but it's not an open world game. Right. And those load screens actually going in are fairly sizable, like 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
And then
not on an Xbox One X, they don't.
Good
Which
news
camera?
I'm playing
on the microtransaction front. Yes,
there is good news on the microtransaction front.
There are none.
There are none.
Oh,
Great
wow.
news.
We did confirm that
That's
with
great.
Yeah,
Jeff
so
Green.
you can find all that and more alongside release date and pricing and the
How is
various
it $30?
versions. And there's a collector's edition that comes with a thumb drive, so that's kind of clever.
but not the game.
But not
Not the game. It's one of those collector's editions that doesn't
like a
have
swag
game
bundle.
in it.
Oh wow, I must have skimmed over that line.
No, yeah, there was one of those. Last
Is it Project Triforce? It happened with like Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, I
It's-
do remember.
it's
I do remember it
becoming
happening.
more and more common.
So the reason for that is usually that they've got like an exclusivity deal with like a supplier.
Yeah.
Like if it's GameStop or something, that they have an agreement that they have to give them a certain allotment and then they can't give them to, or if there are 2 special editions. It's basically like one can be like an edition of swag that doesn't come with the game is basically how it works. It's they've already promised something to someone else and then someone came in and was like, we want to make the collector's edition, but they couldn't give them games basically.
So at whatever point will that collector's edition that they wanted to make include the game in the future after the allotment has been filled, or at that point it's just sort of like
No, yeah.
yeah.
It sucks for everyone, but it's basically the people making the collector's editions coming in too late.
So if
Got
you
it.
really like State of Decay 2, you
want-
can buy the game
you want some
and
of
then
that?
buy a separate collector's
Sweet
edition.
merch, yeah.
A
It does
way-
look cool though.
A Way Out is one of the sort of 4 huge games on the way over the next couple
So
weeks.
excited to play that.
3 of them are coming to Xbox. Ni no Kuni 2 is PlayStation exclusive.
That's
is it
next
not?
week, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, we've got Sea of Thieves, Far Cry 5, and A Way Out on the way here over the next couple weeks. And
on the way in. Thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be here all week. I won't be leaving tomorrow.
Wordplay.
Joseph Ferris was here, actually. He came on a press tour out to San Francisco and I played. We jumped through a bunch of different little sections of the game. And so
PS4 and PC.
yeah, that's
for
what I
Ni no
thought.
Kuni.
There is a 28-minute Let's Play, which is super long, I realize, but Joseph he is enthusiastic and he says lots of crazy stuff,
is
and so you're going to want to watch the whole
enthusiastic.
thing.
I can't wait to watch this
Yeah.
because I haven't had time to do anything for myself lately, and I'm so excited to make this the first thing I do.
Sad I couldn't meet him. I met him briefly at the Game Awards, but
Yeah.
he was very drunk. So that was
Yeah.
a different experience.
I met him at E3 last year, and it was like really awesome just talking to him about
at
what-
EA Play, right?
Yeah, yeah,
and he was
so-
in the hallway. I saw him there.
Right,
too.
yeah. So I can't even imagine how you would be when actually playing the game with him too. I think
Yeah,
that's
he was
awesome.
I was his co-op partner, I guess would be the better way to phrase it. We had a good time and just showing off a bunch of little sections of it that you'll want to check out.
A friendly reminder that this is an EA Originals game. So for anyone who's like, I don't want to buy it because it's EA makes absolutely no money off of it.
Yeah.
All of
Exactly.
the
It
money
was-
will be going to the studio.
Was this one and Fea?
Yeah, and also
Well, Unravel before that.
yeah, Unravel
And,
technically
and
didn't
Yarny.
count.
Unravel.
Yarny.
Oh, didn't
It
Well,
wasn't an
we've-
EA original.
Yes, it was.
It was sort of the
No,
pilot.
it was-
It wasn't?
No, it was the one that made them create EA original.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It
thank
was.
you.
It was sort of
Okay.
the kick off the pilot game.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. But Unravel 2,
Yes,
no, that's
that will be-
happening.
yeah.
So there's that. And then I just want to touch base too. We had the final beta, the final test.
final
for
Sea of Thieves beta.
Did anybody get a chance to play? I know
didn't.
Miranda.
Yes.
Yeah. Just you and I
Just
played a
you and
little.
I.
You played
They added a whole bunch of chickens, some pigs.
the merchant.
merchant, yeah. So-
Cool.
quests.
So if you had played the beta before, they had the gold hoarders, which is basically, hey, go find me this treasure chest and bring it back, and I'll give you some money. Why is Sofia
there's-
Vergara on screen?
Wait, I thought that was Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Was it?
I think that might have been Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I think so too.
I don't know. Why was she there?
I don't know
ju-
why.
What was she? Why is she there?
What's happening?
No, wait, go back again. Go back again.
Hold on. All right, for our audio listeners, just bear with us for 2 seconds
maybe
here.
just-
That's
the video.
yeah, that might be Catherine
I
Zeta-Jones.
think
Anyway.
so.
Yeah.
She looks a lot like Sofia Vergara there.
But
Also,
again-
I watched Modern Family last
Why?
night, so that's probably why.
Anyway, so yeah, you were doing some animal.
Yeah,
Dating.
this train is so
Livestock.
derailed right now. Yeah, so they added a new merchant where instead of find me a treasure chest and I'll pay you for it, it's go find an animal crate, go collect an animal, and then deliver it to X, Y, or Z in the allotted amount of time, and you get money for that.
Could you say you were chasing chickens?
I was chasing chickens.
Oh.
Oh,
for
okay.
it.
It's
See, our
on.
theory
It's
that-
on. Wordplay all day.
Every second time, our
Please-
theory
please
that all the universes are connected is coming true.
Yeah.
Fable and Sea of Thieves universes are connected.
I like
Anyway.
that. So we'll move on, but real quick, actually, just on,
they
on
can-
that note, I wanted to Brandon, if you would please, for our audience, because obviously we have our Xbox crowd here.
Yeah.
This is unlocked. If you could just go over real quick the general review plan for Sea of Thieves, because obviously this is a live game. It's a live service-based game. We will not have a
That's right.
review ready for you on or before launch because the game isn't turned on yet.
Yeah, so unfortunately and understandably, Sea of Thieves is an online game. Like you were saying, it's going to take that, sort of persistent community to actually understand what the game's about. So nobody is getting in until the game launches on 3/20 in the US, which is, I think it also launches in Australian time, which would be about 9 p.m. the day before on Monday, 3/19. So the plan goes like this. We're going to put up some impressions, my impressions of the betas and sort of, the foundation of Sea of Thieves right now. And then since we've really all played the same stuff, I just kind of want to outline what I'm going to be looking for in the coming days. And then, we'll take that and update that review.
Be a review in progress.
Update that review in progress a couple days later, either on Thursday or Friday, and then we're shooting for the final one, no later than a week after launch.
Yeah, and I'll be sailing with you as much as I possibly can allot.
Yeah, I'm
in my
going to try to do
schedule.
that as well.
Yeah,
I'd
it's-
like to as well.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, we want to get all 4 of us in there as much as we can because it's
Yeah.
really is the heart of the game is a 4-person crew.
Yeah.
That's all friends.
Right now, my big concern about reviewing this game is that you need sort of a persistent crew together. And I know that they had said, like, even when you hit legendary status, you can bring your friends along who maybe they're not as involved in Sea of Thieves as you are. But I worry, like, I'm going to have a ship, but then one of you guys have to drop out, or like I'm playing with somebody else and they have to drop
But
out.
I
So we
think
bring a
that
new crew
that's
member in.
probably good, and because that's how most people will have to play it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I need to be able to talk about what's at the end, and
Yeah,
I hope I can get there.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure at least a few people will be able to stick around for most of it.
Yeah, we can open it up to the community.
Can't
as
wait for
well,
that. I
so
mean,
we could have
so-
some Unlocked fans in there.
Next week's Unlocked. We've been talking about Sea of Thieves for almost 3 years.
yeah,
And this is the last show that we're doing
a
where this
special-
game's not out.
Yay.
Crazy.
It's finally happening.
yeah.
So we're doing it in Sea of Thieves next week?
Oh my
Not
god.
next week because
Oh, it has to be the week
GDC and the assorted
yeah.
other nightmares that we have going on, meaning all these review projects, including Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But maybe we should shoot for the week after.
Yeah.
We'll try to do the show from inside Sea of Thieves.
That's a good idea because I will have played a ton. I don't expect you guys to have done as much as I do because GDC.
I'm just not going to go to the GDC parties and
Yeah.
play Sea of Thieves instead.
Well, not even that. Panels, and we
Yeah.
all have jobs. Far Cry 5 comes out that week, and
I'm already tired.
I know.
Oh, no.
But
I've been tired for so long.
I'd like to say congratulations to Rare in advance
Absolutely,
for
yeah.
launching this game and it's we've just been, I don't want to call it unusually excited. It's just like I think it's just there aren't a lot of games that have really sort of captured our attention in this sort of unique way, and there is something special to this game, and whether or not it bears out over the course of of 40, 50 plus hours,
Right.
that's still a big question that remains to be seen, and that's what the review is going to.
I hope it does.
Yeah,
Kinda hope it
we
doesn't,
all
but-
really hope it does, but nevertheless, I mean, this is Rare's. Remember, Microsoft paid $375 million for Rare in 2002, I believe it was, and this is Rare's first original IP.
Yeah.
Of any kind, but certainly on Xbox, and that's not a Kinect game in a long time. And I know the Rare crew that's all listening right now is just saying, "Well, we're super proud of Kinect Sports as well." And
Would say,
I get that.
Kinect.
You should be. It was a very good Kinect game, but this is the first
I love that
core game. Let me put it that way. This is the first core new Rare game in a long time, and. Yeah, I can't wait to jump into this next week.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, I love it when they drop the anchor and just e-brake park the ship like next to an island.
Can we
So great.
cancel GDC so we can just play Sea of Thieves?
I'm 100% down.
We have the authority to do that.
so.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We've got a ton to get to. I want to start with a rumor follow-up from last week, and that is Black Ops 4. The new Call of Duty is indeed Black Ops 4. It's real.
It's real.
And it
real.
is indeed tally marks.
It's real.
No, it's not
1111.
confirmed, but
Miranda,
it pretty much is.
you reviewed World War II, Call of Duty World War II last year, yes? So what do you want to see out of Black Ops 4? What are you hoping for here?
I mean, honestly, I was hoping it wasn't Black Ops 4.
Really?
Like we already had three Black Ops, right? And I want to see what they wanted to do, something different.
Yeah.
Because Black Ops 3's at least story didn't stick us with really well. So hopefully 4 will have something that's a little bit more intriguing. Though I know everyone loves the Black Ops 3 multiplayer a lot, so that at least looks well. I don't know. I'm just ready for some more. I don't know. I really like the futuristic shooters, and I think this is supposed to be probably not too far in the future, so that's fine. I just miss Titanfall a lot.
Yeah.
But I know,
Me too.
just every time I think of shooters, I'm just like futuristic shooters with mobility. I think Titanfall. But for this, like, I'm curious where they're going to take it because I think a lot of people were kind of refreshed by having a more historical setting. So, I mean, honestly, I'm just waiting for that gameplay to be revealed.
On May 17th, that will be happening, which I don't know this, but I suspect this is going to be a lot, like basically exactly like the Destiny 2 reveal event last year, because it's the same time. It's during Judges Week. I'll be there for that. So I'm guessing the last thing of Judges Week will be a big event.
Yeah.
Probably, who knows if it's even at the same hangar right next to SpaceX and Tesla in Hawthorne, and they'll bring a bunch of fans and influencers. I'm purely guessing here, but it would not at all
It makes
surprise
sense.
me.
I mean, we were there. We were at the Destiny 2 reveal last year, and the playbook was great. Like
and it was
they bust us all there, and the fans were already there, and we went in and got to see our stuff.
And fast forward almost a year, and look how the community feels about Destiny.
We don't
2
talk
now.
about it anymore.
From then to now, 1 year makes
Just
a
waiting
difference.
for that next big update for it.
The Taken King of
the real big news, besides the fact that it is Black Ops 4, is the release date.
I love this.
Oh boy.
The exact thing that you wrote is what I said in the fix.
Beginning of November, every year they've had it on lockdown for the better part of a decade now with Call of Duty. Until now, they are releasing Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on October 12th. Lana, why
So
on
weird.
earth would they change the playbook like
Make
that?
way for our Lord, Red Dead Redemption. Carry on, sir.
Peasant.
The path is clear for ye.
Even
Everyone's just getting the hell out of the way.
even
Call of
Activision
Duty.
is scared of Rockstar.
It's amazing.
It's so
Even
smart though.
Activision.
It's like, do you want us to play your game or not? Okay, good. Make sure it's not in the same like week as Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's crazy.
That's so
Now,
important.
I
I love
saw-
it so much.
Some people reacted to my tweet that said exactly that, saying, oh, well, they're looking to bury Battlefield, to just preempt Battlefield, which is usually late October. Well, they can do that too,
Yeah.
potentially with this move. But to me, this is 100% a, oh my God, we need to get out of Red Dead Redemption 2's
Yeah,
way.
no one would ever tell us, but I would bet money that they care more about Red Dead Redemption 2 than they do about Battlefield, because every year they sell better than Battlefield.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't really need to worry about that at this point. More people know the Call of Duty name than they know Battlefield's name, I would wager. So it's just like it's. I just love that Rockstar has that power against the highest grossing publisher in the world to just be like, oh, everyone needs to move.
Honestly,
Ooh.
I'm just happy with staggered releases because that one
Yeah.
makes our job
course.
easier, but two, then we can play more games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would, we'll know if we're right, Alana, if next year
They're back to
they're back
back
to
to
beginning
November.
early November. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, it's so great.
I mean, yeah, timing is everything, man. Like, look at Titanfall 2. Like, ostensibly my favorite shooter of the year, up against Battlefield and what was it that year?
Years?
Yeah, Gears was that year too.
No. What was the COD that year? It was I'm blanking on the name of it.
I don't know. There's so many of them.
It was wedged right between
Wasn't it
Battle.
Infinite?
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
it was
was there?
basically,
Right.
yeah, they released, mere weeks apart. Battlefield came out, then Titanfall came out, and then Call of Duty came
Thinking
out.
that just when Miranda mentioned it, that Titanfall 2, the only reason it died is because of the time of year it came
Yes.
out.
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
sad.
It was
Honestly-
one of the best first-person shooters. Period. Certainly, campaign and multiplayer, and as a collective package deal of this entire generation.
I know.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I said
Woefully-
in my review. It's like, this is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns that you've ever played, and it was so important going into that second game from the first game that didn't have a campaign.
Yeah,
So
woefully
they nailed it.
underappreciated.
I even feel that way about Dishonored 2. Like, I'll champion that game forever, but it failed
The one
because of
that
the
died.
time of year that it came out.
I mean,
It
that's
just
such a-
shouldn't have.
It's so hard. It's like it's such a stuffy release time in fall, and especially for shooters. Like shooters, I don't know how everyone else in the world chooses to play, but like I try to get my hands on as many of them as possible because I think there's value to each one on their own. Like Battlefield and Call of Duty are so different.
Yeah. Oh,
People are like, "Well, this is the same thing." Well, I'm like, that's like saying Dota and League are the same thing, and they're absolutely not. But everyone says that. It's like, well, they're both MOBAs. And I'm like, no,
How
there's a
dare
depth
you.
to their definition, and that goes the same with shooters. And it's like a kind of a shame that they get pigeonholed like that, right?
The Cleveland Browns
you
and
have
the
to
New
do one
England
or the other.
Patriots are the
Yeah,
same.
and I
same
get it.
thing.
They're both football teams.
But I get it. Like we were talking before about about leaderboards, right? Oh my god, you two. Anyway, we gotta separate you two next time.
Romances. Yeah, can you guys swap again?
It's like 3 years in the making.
intense.
Just
I love
let it happen.
I love it very much. But that comes
both
down to
football
like
teams.
we only have so much time, right? So we're
that's
privileged
another-
to have that accessibility to
Yeah.
all these games.
Yeah.
It's
and I
another reason
get
to
that.
play shooters is the campaigns are short. It's like you can do
Yeah.
it. You can play all of them.
I don't know, but I also
Yeah.
get that it's like people have preferences for how they play their shooters, like what kind of things they require in shooters, whether it's time to kill or what kind of weapons or the setting, and I get that. It's just Titanfall 2.
I had a friend who would only play shooters if
it.
you could go prone. Like that was his big thing. He's like, I want to lay down and shoot people from a distance.
I
kinda
actually
wanna
do
know-
really enjoy that. I think that like Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2 have really influenced what I expect from a shooter.
Battlefield as well, man. Like
I
when
know.
you snipe in Battlefield and then you go to a shooter that doesn't have prone, you feel
Weird.
weird. Yeah.
I
Vulnerable.
kind of want to know what are like the requirements for someone to enjoy a shooter, like individuals like requirements, like it has to have this thing, or else it's not a shooter. That I
Interesting
enjoy.
question.
Yeah, it's just I know obviously that
Because we would all be really different. But for me,
yeah.
it has to
Right.
be tactics of some kind.
Good campaign.
wow,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, not that I just swear off multiplayer games, but I'm far less likely to spend any significant amount of time with a multiplayer-only shooter.
for me, like the variety of your weapons have to have a defined feel and
Yeah.
enough strategy that I can change it up whenever I want to. Like if I like LMGs a lot, I need to be able to figure out what of those LMGs you offer are competent for me to play across all of your maps.
That's why Gears of War is so good. Like the weapon variety, like in every iteration, they just kept adding more, but they're so well balanced.
Yeah,
the
it's like-
multiplayer rules.
I get it that sometimes one weapon can't work well across every map because, of course, different map types. But I just need to have one that I can feel comfortable with, but not just feel like I have to, of course, go to the automatic assault rifle because like that's always what happens, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, shooters.
So so that's the big Black Ops news. Now
More shooter news.
this this definitely puts
back to it.
it definitely puts the so-called Battlefield V between a rock and a hard place unless they move their date either. Unless they want to get Titanfall, they either need to move
Red
thank you.
Dead to Rights. Huh?
Very good. Yep. Good stuff.
They either need to find a way to get Battlefield done and out in September and just beat them to the punch, or maybe they could still have some success by moving to like mid-November, just like get out away.
I think we're gonna have a lot of games in September, though. I really do. Like,
Yeah,
This
we're gonna
happens
get to
every
Tomb
year.
Raider.
Like,
in
it
a
comes in
second.
by
yeah,
2 more weeks.
I think
every
there's
year.
gonna be a ton
Yeah.
of September releases. Like this,
Forza. If there's a whatever the Forza game is this year, which is almost certainly another Horizon because that's what the calendar tells
Yeah.
us. That's traditionally been a September
if
release.
Crackdown gets delayed, I would guess August, September.
Yeah.
Like we've heard rumors that Spider-Man's gonna be September. It's like I feel like there's gonna be a ton of stuff.
Oh man, I don't think
Everyone's just
Spider-Man's
screwed this year.
is
Just
it?
all games just pushed to next year.
Yeah.
Get out
Pause.
the Red Dead
Hit
Redemption
the pause.
way,
Hit the pause button right now.
and then we're fine.
Here's the thing though, is I hesitate to like, you know, take a guess on when Battlefield would have success versus Call of Duty versus RDR2. Because we don't know what Battlefield is going to look like. We don't know what Call of Duty is going to look like. So like
Don't we?
well, I mean that's fair.
Don't we, though?
That's a good point, but like talk to me Battlefield 4 going into Battlefield 1. Like those are two. When I saw Battlefield 1 for the first time, I was like, I am buying that game. I need to buy that game.
Well, you know, it's a World War II game.
Sure. So
you go.
I'm curious.
Battlefield V.
But Call of Duty World War II was a World War II game, you know? And when I saw that, I was like, that looks interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it day one.
You're right,
Or-
but I don't think
or
that's
at all.
enough of an influence.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, once E3 comes out and we see these things, you know, Black Ops 4, if it comes out and does the exact same song and dance as the rest of the futuristic, you know, wall jumping, wall running operators,
It will sell just as well as it does every other
it
year.
will, but you have people who are, you know, Call of Duty's been in decline for a number of years now. Like, there's fatigue for sure. So
I haven't played
I
one since Modern Warfare 2, so
I think if
Whoa.
it's been a while.
if
Wow.
Black Ops 4 comes out and it doesn't do something that really invigorates the Call of Duty franchise or the Call of Duty player base, to be fair, less the Call of Duty player base and more the people who are on the fringe of it,
Tallies.
I think that you could see them just maybe pass it over for a Battlefield 1. So, you know, depending on what they have in store is sort of key as to
that's-
when they're going to go live.
I don't know. I don't know how EA looks at it. Whether they're, I mean, of course they.
Well, they just
They-
told us forget what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
So we're watching the trailer for.
I'm sure
Black
EA
Ops
would be
4.
content with having people also buy Battlefield as
Yeah.
well as Call of Duty, but I'm sure in an ideal world they're looking to siphon off people from Call of Duty and get them to come over and dedicate themselves
Yeah.
to their game, and so they can sell the microtransactions and all that stuff. And I think I think the only way to do that this year is just you've got to ship before they do.
Yeah.
Quick question.
And the goalpost got moved forward to October 12th.
Let's try not to talk about this for too long. Which do you think is the better franchise, Call of Duty or Battlefield? Each of you.
I think it depends on.
What are the
year.
You just have
It
to like
kinda
go
depends
real
on the
quick.
year.
Which
Just the
franchise do
gut.
you
I think
prefer
that
as a
that
whole?
comes down to a preference because they do
does.
very different things, and I generally prefer Call of Duty.
Okay.
Even though my father prefers Battlefield, so I'll play Battlefield with him.
I prefer Battlefield.
I like a lot of what Battlefield does, but sometimes I just need to be alone and get a lot of kills, and I don't want to rely on anybody, so I'll play Call of Duty.
Respect
As
that.
a just confessed campaign guy, it's Call of Duty for me because Battlefield up until super recently has had very, very throwaway campaigns.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of really good memories from Call of Duty 1, 2, 4, Black Ops 1. Advanced Warfare was pretty good, and I liked World War II a lot. So there's a lot of good campaign
Yeah,
memories for
remember
me in Call of
Ghosts?
Duty. I've noticed
talk
that I
about
skipped
Ghosts.
right over Ghosts.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ghost? Because Ryan forgot.
I remember.
I knew it. What 15 minutes in, I knew it was like this is terrible.
Really?
Anyway, move on.
Yeah, there is a lot of indicators there. Anyway.
I don't know. Like I don't really play shooters for the campaigns so much. Titanfall, you know, was the obvious exception
Can't say
recently.
Titanfall, Brandon. That's cheating.
Recently, so I'm going to say neither. No, I don't know, man. Like I played a lot of Black Ops 1 multiplayer. I loved it. I hit 15th prestige. I had 14 days played. I loved that game. I haven't played a Call of Duty even remotely close to that, ravenously since. Battlefield 1 really did interesting things that I think I fell in love with. So I think I'm going Battlefield.
Fair enough.
Go higher and higher.
I feel like it could be like an interesting
split.
debate article to see what people think of that.
Yeah, I think it also kind of depends on your style of gameplay, of course, because I think Battlefield has a lot more tactical options.
Yeah.
Right, which is all I really care about.
Right. See, then that's the thing. It's like I just want my simplicity of like, am I getting my kills? Am I earning my kill streaks? We good.
Yeah, it's all subjective though, man. Because when I think Call of
totally
Duty,
is.
It
when
so
I-
depends.
When I think the best Call of Duty multiplayer, I think back to the years that I spent playing Black Ops, and then I think to Battlefield. I'm like, man, that's fun too. And then I remember getting sniped from across the map 4 times in a row, and I'm like,
Company.
I hate shooters in general.
And 1942 and
Oh my
Vietnam.
god, yeah,
Man,
yeah. Bad Company.
I feel like
Bad
1942
Company.
and Bad Company 2 are the reasons that I'm like top of the list about
Bad Company had some of the
Sorry,
best
we've
writing.
taken over this show.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I did not-
I like how I was like, let's just talk about this real quick, and now we're like,
Yeah.
no!
It's like, okay, now let me get down to the
Titanfall.
details of what this works for me, what works for you. No.
We're 50 minutes in and we're on our first news story. So the one other thing I wanted to note here was that the Dow Jones Newswire reports that following a meeting between Activision Blizzard and its investment firm Oppenheimer, Activision is reportedly, quote, keenly aware of how other game publishers have recently benefited from releasing titles in the battle royale genre. Management reminded investors that the company is a faster follower.
What does that mean?
So it would seem to mean that there will be some sort of, or at least they're at least looking at how to adapt Call of Duty into a battle royale,
Sure.
even if it's just a
Maybe.
mode within a game. And it just
But what does faster follower mean?
So-
It seems like an
it just
insult.
mean-
Well, a fast follow opportunity is you see something and then you jump on it to capitalize on the success of it.
But they haven't done it because it's.
But yeah, they're
Several
saying
years later.
them saying we're a faster follower means we're better. My interpretation means we're better equipped to do this than most other publishers or developers out there.
and it got me thinking, like, just
Yeah, no,
what could this mean? And I thought, okay, well, you have your 3 Call of Duty studios, and Sledgehammer just shipped, and they just had what may very well end up being sort of a culture change. I mean, that they definitely have a big change in that Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey have moved upstairs.
the
into-
heads of the studio.
yeah, into Activision executive roles. So there'll be new leadership there. Would I wonder if they might pivot that studio? This is just me spitballing. Could they pivot that studio into sort of becoming the Call of Duty Battle Royale studio, at least for a little while? Or maybe they'll just make it part of whatever their next game
Right.
is.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
kinda- that's
curious.
what I'd see it being an addition to what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read the news story that they had moved upstairs, but are they still in the creative element of it, or are they
No.
actually
Technically,
No,
yeah.
their business now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know Active Blizzard, like I look through their annual presentations, and they do care a lot about focusing on mobile as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a Call of Duty Royale mobile.
I mean,
Solid thought.
PUBG
Fortnite.
and Fortnite are just
Just
blowing up already over that. So
well, Fortnite just released their mobile version as well,
Right.
or announced it.
PUBG's
I'm
got
not
like
sure if it's
millions of
yet.
signups, and it hasn't started yet, I think. But
Well, especially when you look at like these types of mobile games are enormous in China.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Call of Duty there is a thing called Call of Duty Online in China.
China,
It's been
yeah.
running for years.
It's-
but-
even PUBG's an
I mean, it's run by Tencent, which I mean, what isn't? But
yeah.
yeah, they're the. I don't even. Is
I
there
think
an
they're
American equivalent?
I think they're the largest in the world. Yeah, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I believe I might be wrong, but I believe they are the
Probably.
largest publisher, distributor, whatever, what have you.
But keep an eye on maybe the next year or two if we'll hear something about Call of Duty dipping its toe in the battle royale genre one way
Yeah.
or another.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they lift some sort of aspect of that. I mean, if you look at Infinite Warfare, their classes kind of felt like what you see in hero shooters with like having ultimate abilities. So it wouldn't be surprising if they try to lift something to see how it could work in their formula already.
Cool.
Next up this week, there was an internet rumor that we reported on. Not even a rumor. I mean, there was a listing that appeared on Amazon Canada's page for Splinter Cell 2018.
Now take it easy. Hold
Just have a defibrillator. I know it's right down the hall, but you
We
might
do
wanna
have
just-
one.
Just go get it and bring it in
and
here.
an EpiPen and maybe some smelling salt.
Yeah, maybe. But so that showed up. with no other information, nothing else on it. It has, of course, since been taken down, but it has led to rampant speculation that, hey, why would that appear out of nowhere? It's either a harbinger for a real thing, or it's some product or engineering guy at Amazon Canada who's just trolling everyone and having a good time, which is entirely possible in this day and age.
Right. Amazon's leaked things before, though, so.
That's the thing.
I mean, they have a long
3 announcement.
They have a
from me.
long history.
From us.
Shadow of War got leaked like a day before the announcement. Yeah.
So I'm sort of trying my best not to get excited for this because this is not concrete evidence. Also, if it were real, I'd want to know what it is before getting super excited about it, because I don't want Splinter Cell to turn into
Welcome to Ubisoft Splinter Cell mobile battle royale game.
hang on while I vomit repeatedly. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to turn into like hop from comm tower to comm tower and scout out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't want to see it become sort of get thrown in the genre blender that Ubisoft, for as creative as many of their games are, they are also guilty of kind of
There are themes.
of their games can be similar in a lot of ways. They can share a lot of gameplay similarities, and that's, to me, not at all what Splinter Cell is about as we look at some footage from Splinter Cell Blacklist.
poking people in the head with a
I have
gun.
no idea what the game is going to be, but I 100% believe this is true.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that
too.
this is a game that
I
exists.
actually do as well. I mean, what else is coming out this year from Ubisoft?
Yeah. We
And-
through a pipeline of things that I can't be like, I definitely heard it, but like this is a thing that I had heard through people before this happened, and it was like, just it all adds up.
Yeah, I mean, I look, Ubisoft is making a transition to sort of a games as service model that's done really well for them, and to their great credit, they have supported these games really well. But you know, at some point, they have to announce something new, right?
Yeah.
We know Skull of Bones is. We haven't heard from it.
Oh, right.
we haven't
I
heard
haven't
from
thought
it
about
since E3.
Yeah.
South Park is out. Far Cry will be out.
Right.
Like For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege are doing their
There
thing.
may be another Assassin's Creed, what is it, like a side type thing.
Yeah, they said
Yeah.
they wanted to support Origins for longer rather than
Right.
annually
Right.
releasing.
I think I don't know if they are, but it sounds like they're going to not necessarily an annual cadence with
Now-
Assassins anymore.
I just want Rainbow Six Vegas 3, but that's
I mean, optimistically, what I would say is, even though I just got done saying that Ubisoft can be guilty of just throwing games into a genre blender, I think that where it makes sense, they have also been really good at focusing a game to its strengths. And I think look no further than Rainbow Six Siege for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a game that's, it is definitely not anything like anything else in the Ubisoft catalog.
Right.
And
Well, it's a lot like For Honor now because they use the Rainbow Six Siege like playbook and just slapped it onto For Honor.
right. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I need this game, if it's going to exist, to be I was talking about this with Brendan Graber in the office yesterday. I need
guy.
this to be a pure stealth game, not an action game that happens to have stealth elements in
Right.
it, which is what Conviction was. And then thankfully Blacklist walked that back a little bit. It still had some action-y stuff in it, but you could play it and be rewarded for playing it in a pure stealth way.
That's what I imagine they'll do, because it is hard to market something as just stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get that, and they're trying to appeal to broad audiences, and I imagine it'll be like Blacklist, but yeah, they just have to have a campaign, and I'm sure they will.
I'm curious where you guys landed on Spies versus Mercs.
In general, or the most recent one?
Well, either way.
I mean, in general, I think it's one of the most unique and brilliant multiplayer modes in anywhere in gaming, where you have first-person perspective, slower, armed mercenaries hunting third-person perspective, nimble, non-lethal spies and trying to compete for an objective. It's incredible. I've spent hundreds of hours in that
Okay.
mode
Oh, so you're
over the
I
years.
did not play
mean,
that much.
so you're on the side of it then. Yeah.
I mean, it's Pandora Tomorrow is what introduced it, and it was incredible. And then it refined it in Chaos Theory, and then the Blacklist version didn't quite do it for me.
Okay.
There was something about it that just didn't quite feel as good. But yeah, I would assume that a new Splinter Cell game would have a Spies versus
Yeah.
Mercs mode in it that they could loot box monetize.
So
Figure out
that's-
some way to monetize.
That's where I'm at too. Like if they include this, we see Ubisoft making really aggressive moves toward their multiplayer suites in their online games, and I don't know if having so much emphasis on a Spies versus Mercs mode in a Splinter Cell would dilute the rest of the game, or if maybe it's just Spies versus.
Well, no,
Mercs.
because Spies versus Mercs. I was just talking about this with somebody this morning. Spies versus Mercs, always, all 3 iterations of it in the 3 games I just mentioned, has that is a Ubisoft Montpellier project. They invented it. It's their thing, and the campaign is always done separately.
Separately, right?
Yeah, whether it's Montreal or whomever it's been. So Toronto and Shanghai have been the 3 developers that have made Splinter Cell single player campaigns. So we'll see. I mean, what I want is for those 3 green lights to turn on Ubisoft stage,
Sam Fisher.
to hear Michael Ironside's voice, and I guess ideally it would be Chaos Theory 2, where it follows that same sort of gameplay model, where it's one giant playground mission space with an objective, but you can do it in a million different ways. So it's not an open world game, but more like an open mission
arena,
game, which is how Chaos Theory was built. But even if it's not literally Chaos Theory 2, because it's like the story, who cares? That's the one weakness of that game, is it had a completely forgettable story. But it's got to be Ironside, and it's got to be I have to be able to play it in a core stealth way.
Does it have to be an Xbox exclusive? No,
That's not
I didn't
gonna
think so
happen.
either.
I think that ship sailed. I mean,
But
it's
Blacklist was, right?
No.
It wasn't.
no Conviction was. It was a
Conviction was the last
console exclusive. It came out on PC as well. But then, Blacklist was just a straight multi-platform release. Splinter Cell's always been, not that it's sold poorly, but it's been sort of the least commercially successful of the Clancy, like the Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon. So I can't see in this day and age with game budgets
I think
being
so too, but I wasn't
what
sure
they
if there
are.
would be. But I mean, I'm sure that Microsoft would try really hard to
They
get
should.
it. So,
They should. Sure. I mean,
I
it
don't
is.
think it has to be.
I think it is fair to say, to your point, that Splinter Cell is a franchise that is associated.
Well,
with
that's why I probably I think it was before I was in the industry. Oh no, I was, because I got a review copy. But I at the time, guess I even just assumed that Blacklist was Xbox exclusive because it was marketed that way. You know, how, like in the same way some people thought Destiny 2 was PS4 exclusive because that's what they saw.
You know,
It's
one,
the marketing
2,
deals,
yeah.
1, 2, and 3, 1, Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory were all Xbox original.
I still
Xbox
have
exclusive.
those original cases.
And they were ported later to PS2 and other platforms. But then, and then Double Agent. I actually can't remember
I
if
think Double Agent was exclusive as well, but
I think it came out eventually. Yeah, I think you might be right. But then, Conviction. They basically all have come out on Xbox first, up until Blacklist.
yeah.
So we'll see. But the last dude, the not Michael Ironside, it's not that he was bad. He was just
He's just different.
just not.
It's just not the
I just
same,
didn't
man.
think he brought anything to the role.
Oh, God,
it was
what-
just you could have cast 10,000 other guys.
What
in
was
that role?
what was the name of the dude that they swapped Snake for?
That's the one that I always think of as the most
well,
disappointing.
that wasn't that.
What's his
Kiefer
name?
Sutherland?
It
Yeah,
was,
Kiefer Sutherland.
yeah.
I always think Dennis Quaid. I'm like, that's not it. But Kiefer Sutherland. So the 3 green lights come on, and you hear Kiefer Sutherland's gravelly voice come across, say like, "It's good to be back" or something like that. What goes through your head in that
Instant
moment?
conflict in my mind.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, yes, Splinter Cell, but
You just like laugh, cry hysterically.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm okay with Kiefer Sutherland as a voice actor. I'm all right with it.
Well, sure. Again,
But it's
listen
the
to
nostalgia.
Michael Ironside. He is Sam. He is, and don't try to retcon this and make it not Sam.
It's like if they had Marcus Phoenix not be that voice actor. What's his name?
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio. If they had him
Also
be
Bender.
replaced, and also Jake the dog. Yeah. He's a really
Very,
good dude.
very talented person.
Yeah, incredibly. I would be super weird about that. That would be
That
like
would
one
be-
that I would be like, no,
Yeah.
not allowed.
That's like
I mean,
off limits. Like,
The
don't
one thing I could see them doing it as sort of a reboot where it's a new agent, but if that is with a new actor, obviously a voice actor, but if that's the case, Ironside has
You want
to
that, like,
be
mentor,
in the Lambert role. He's
Yeah.
got to be talking to you in your ear. Just transition me. Just give me a bridge to the future. The way that Gears does it in such a great way where they're in there. Like you're playing as the new generation, but
Yeah.
you're right there with Marcus and Dom. So
Yeah.
And the DBs and
they did such a great job of sort of handing off Gears of War to the new generation, and Splinter Cell for me would need to do that.
Dom's
But
not there, but
Do you guys think it's a bigger?
Well, right.
You guys think it's a bigger offense to get a new
zombie.
voice actor
Zombie Dom.
who sounds similar to the old voice actor, or just
stop it.
completely goes away?
What?
I'm just gonna go home and cry now. You're just bullying him at this point.
I'm not bullying. I'm genuinely like I love to see how your mind works about this
I
stuff
think it's
because you have
more
so much
annoying
nostalgia for
if
something I've
it's-
never played.
If it's close and they try to make it sound the same, it's worse.
Okay.
It's very much
Yeah.
worse.
Yep.
It
That's
happens all the time in anime.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
Yeah,
thoughts.
no, Michael Ironside
wanna
is very
talk about it.
distinctive.
after the show.
All right.
Maybe not even that.
Everyone's crying.
You can
We've
just
teased-
rage over.
We've teased this a couple times. Now let's talk a little more Tomb Raider, this time on the video game front.
Ew.
We've known about Shadow of the Tomb Raider for a while. They
Mm-hmm.
had there was the leaked thing from the person sitting behind the other person on the subway,
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
a picture of the laptop.
This is fantastic.
To
bad.
the Twitter tease where each first letter of the sentence spelled out Shadow, and now we have another. Well, not that the shadow thing was deliberate.
Right.
The other thing was an accident. This is kind of a dumb mistake by a web developer that's probably fired or at least heavily reprimanded at this point. There is a countdown timer on the Tomb Raider website right now that is counting down to, I think, tomorrow as we record
Yeah, it
this.
is tomorrow.
But probably it'll happen by the time most of you hear it. But it's counting down to an announcement. But intrepid folks just looked at the source code for the webpage. It's all right there. September 14th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC brings us Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which, as the source code notes in the tagline, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the climactic finale of Lara's origin story.
Whoa.
Really
you
leaves
go.
a lot open.
And then we move into the mid story.
But yeah, but now that
middle
we're done with
age,
telling her beginnings, we can move on.
Yeah.
I did see
Her
someone
lineage.
tweet about saying how cool it would be if you could have like a Lara Croft story where she's like 40 years old, like
Yeah.
Snake. And that would be cool as hell. Like,
Whoa.
wouldn't it be awesome to have her
Yeah.
like be gruff and old? Like I would love
Yep.
that. But I think I said last week that I thought this was going to be announced during South by Southwest. Technically it is.
I think you did.
Yeah. Also,
Oh, you
in,
Which
just-
was a total gamble.
Yeah.
in
But
a
technically it is.
in a 40-year-old Lara, can we get Laura Dern to play her? How great would that
Whoa.
Be good.
be? Right?
Yes.
On board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Darn.
awesome.
Anyway,
But yeah, worth noting this is not coming to Xbox first this time, which I don't think is surprising anyone. So.
How fitting, though, that the release date is revealed in a similar way for a game that was revealed on a subway
I
train.
felt bad for them.
Yeah.
that
That
That's
sucks.
a tough. I mean,
These ones are almost their own fault though, like in both cases, like maybe don't talk about an exclusive title on a public train. I don't know.
And this isn't Crystal D, is it?
No, it's
not.
allegedly Eidos Montreal, the Thief 2014 / Deus Ex
Ex.
team. Although I would believe it to be the Thief team. I think we've talked about this
Yeah.
before because they had only just wrapped Deus Ex Mankind
That
Divided.
game had some really cool
last
puzzles,
year. Yeah.
actually. That was like,
Those were both.
I have a weird affinity for that game where I like it, but I know that it's not very good, but I still really enjoyed it because there hadn't been a Thief for so long.
Again, going back, you can like stuff that's not good. It's totally
It's true.
fine.
It's true.
I think as long as you can recognize what it doesn't work with
Yeah.
it, then that's totally fine.
It's a fun exercise to
don't
do
blame
when
them.
you're playing a video game. Ask yourself, why do I like this? Why don't I like this? A lot of people don't do that.
I think it's
Critical
easier if you
thinking.
don't, though.
Yeah.
In some cases,
That's
you're
true.
like,
Sometimes
not
it's
think
okay.
about it.
Now I can't
enjoy.
not see it.
My favorite game is Deadly Premonition, which is objectively terrible. But in this case, like they made really cool puzzles in Thief. I remember the one room where you're like trying to uncover this big box. It's like it was the kind of puzzles that I would want from a Tomb Raider, basically. So I feel like they're a good team to do it. Also makes me hope that it's going to have some more stealth horror stuff in it.
Yeah.
I just want the gameplay to feel different enough from the other two, ultimately.
Yeah, because I mean, Rise was again. I say this every
It's a
time
great
it comes up. I voted for it for IGN's Game of the Year in 2015.
Wow.
Didn't win, but I
so
thought it
many
was
hours in
that
that
good. Thought it was it was the best game I played that year, just start to finish, top to bottom. It was just phenomenal. So it's a lot for Eidos Montreal to live up to.
Yeah, I really hope it's great because I will undoubtedly be doing the wiki for it. So
R.I.P.
I'm going to spend
Sorry
a ton of time in
advance.
it.
They have so many
No, they're really
collectibles.
they're fun. Yeah, as long as it's just not bloated like Rise was, then
Yeah.
it'll be a good time.
Oh, Rise was artificially.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to collect.
Yeah, even the first one, it was just
Whew.
I went for the achievement and then was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's gonna take too long. Never mind.
I did the same with the first game. I played a little bit of Rise, but like didn't really follow through.
I think you can pretty much guarantee that Shadow of the Tomb Raider is going to look incredible on the Xbox One X
For sure.
because the Rise, they went back and have updated it after. It wasn't even developed with it in mind, and just the post-release enhancements. It's an incredible looking game. So the production value should be incredible on this. And I think we have to agree, right, that the September 14th, really smart move on Square's part here.
Yeah.
Just again, trying to get out in front of this holiday season a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Still think there's gonna be tons in September that we don't know about, but
Yeah.
we'll see who wins.
Yeah.
It's just nice to get some dates, like official dates out there for fall, though.
Even
We
if
just
this
didn't
was
have
a
that
leak.
much beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're going to announce it pretty soon, officially anyway.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right, Microsoft's announcing their E3 plans. They've got some big plans. They're calling it their biggest E3 ever, which of course has sent the fanboys into a frenzy.
Which of course they say every year.
They say
Which
every
they-
year,
yeah.
and I want to caution people, they're not only just hyping, but I'm not to say they're going to have a bad E3, but I just want to just rein people in a little bit. They're speaking very literally because they have their
Yeah.
booth
That's
and
right.
they're having this big presence at the Microsoft Theater
Yeah.
across the street / next door. So they're speaking very
Physically.
It's a very
Yeah.
marketing-y kind of like they are not wrong.
Yeah.
But I just
like,
want
no, we're just talking about size.
Yeah.
doesn't
size.
necessarily-
Our largest square footage ever.
doesn't mean they're going to announce 500 games at E3. Maybe they will, but
Yeah.
just settle. I just want to caution people to settle down a little bit before getting too overhyped. You don't want to do
No,
that.
I am overhyped for this one
I
probably
am
though,
t-
because
yeah.
this is the first year since the launch of the Xbox One that I've been like, we gonna get some exclusives. We
Yeah,
gonna
I
get a lot
think
of
this
them.
is going to be the one we're going to see a lot of.
Yeah,
good
me too. So
announcements.
that means we are overhyped.
I think
Halo.
I mean, I think it's just
6.
time. It's just
It's
time
time.
for it.
It's
is the
perfect.
thing.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it feels
exactly
right.
time. If you look at the narrative where Microsoft was trailing Sony in the exclusive department, and everyone's like, you got to go out and either contract or buy studios or find some people to make games. Like now's around the time we might start seeing
Because at the start, I
one or
don't
two
think
of
they
those.
cared.
You know?
The idea was that they didn't want to play the exclusive game, so they weren't focusing on it. They were focusing on
Right.
services more than anything. And we've got backwards compatibility. Xbox Live is incredible. Game Pass is incredible. They've done a good job with those services, but I think it like kind of caught up to them. That
The
they were like,
optics
oh,
of
we
it,
need
yeah.
the exclusives, and it takes that many years for them to get them.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that,
Thinking
Things take
this might be
time.
it.
but that means we're overexcited.
I know.
But I
We'll-
still am.
We'll fangirl about
I mean,
this
I'm
later,
always
but-
very excited for E3 generally.
I know,
No
it's
matter
such
what
a-
it is,
it's
I am
such a
just
cool
looking
time.
forward to seeing what people want to bring. And that's just what I always feel going into it. And sometimes let down, but generally it's just nice to see how other people react as well. It's just like, I may not care about this announcement, but I'm glad you're excited to see it.
We've been
Sure.
talking about this for a while, but I'll say it. We do think that they're going to go guns blazing this year because their backs have been up against the wall as far as the first party game situation, and they've got a lot in the pipe. They can come out swinging with Halo 6, with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, with potentially. I think they could even very lightly tease Gears 5.
Maybe, yeah.
This one.
I
I
see
even
that more
think.
so next year.
Well, I
Would
think
be a safer-
that'll be the Gears year, but
time.
I also I'll go even so far as to say, especially after the leaks, I think we could even get that CG like logo only music
Yeah.
Fable
That's,
teaser.
you before you even said it, I started
You
to
knew
get
it?
goosebumps because I was like, "Oh, I want that so bad."
A little bit of that
Comes
like
back to
fairy tale
Fable.
music, and then
Well, if they
maybe
do
some
Perfect
Albion.
Dark as well, then I'm
Yeah,
just going to be
Perfect-
like, all right, best E3 ever, we're good. But,
Yeah.
I also really want new IP. I want, in the same way that original Recore trailer was, I want them to, look at Horizon Zero Dawn's success and be like, okay, we can make a single player only, long campaign game and have it sell really well.
I
I hope that we
totally-
get one of those.
Well, that's Fable in 3 or 4 years.
You're
but
totally
hopefully-
right, but new IP also.
Right. It's like we always want those. It's like we see so many sequels and we're so excited for them. And I remember going through every E3 list in the wiki and being like, oh, look at all these sequels we got announced.
Yeah.
And that's so cool because like we love these games and want to see them return. But at the same time, like you're craving that new thing. And like having Horizon last year was really cool to have like
Yes.
And I hope that
in
it
the
fuels a
long
lot of
thing
people
else.
to be like, no, we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and obviously it's a big risk.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Recore, but
True.
at the same time, it's a risk that we need them to take sometimes.
Recall looked so cool.
Yeah,
I
it
wanted
did.
it to be Jet Force Gemini. It's just like it. I feel like in my head I thought it was AAA and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, the ideas were there. Just to me, that game, and I know I'm not a game developer. I'm not a game publisher, but it just, looking at it, I could see the lack of money on
Yeah.
the screen. Like, it just seemed like if it had another, a much bigger budget and maybe even a bit more time, that it could have gotten to that
The
next
teaser
level.
trailer was awesome. Like, I really liked the vibe from it. I enjoyed parts of it, but yeah, I think you're totally right that it ultimately ended up feeling arcadey. And yeah, it's like seeing that they didn't want it to be AAA ultimately, or they didn't want to invest.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the year for it. Like, this is what they need to. They need that big wow moment that, I mean, I was in the room for last year's Xbox conference, and it was, Dead Rising and Forza, and, you had all these games, like Miranda was saying, lots of sequels and lots of continuations. But God, like, I want the lights to go out, and I want something to come on screen and to not know what it is. And then at the end of it, you remember the Anthem reveal where we were like, what is this? This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when it was over, it was like, oh, new IP. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for that for Microsoft. And if last year was about the hardware and building a foundation, this year should seemingly be about the software and building the house.
So their press conference will be, mark your calendars, Sunday, June 10th, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you want to know what time that is in your time zone, Google it.
Probably have it on the wiki here soon, if it's not already there.
There you go. They are moving, by the way,
Yeah,
not
baby.
that this is particular relevance to anybody, unless you're actually going to E3 to get in on Microsoft's E3, which you will have the opportunity to do this year, as you did last year.
Square
They're moving
footage.
from the Galen Center at USC to, appropriately, the Microsoft Theater,
Yeah,
which is adjacent to the Convention Center and the Staples Center there at LA Live.
Is that new in the LA Live area? It used to be the Nokia Theater?
Right, and Microsoft bought Nokia.
Yeah.
Right,
And
yeah.
they
A,
renamed the theater.
a number of years ago. But
Yes.
Hold up. Y'all call that Nokia?
Nokia?
yeah. Nokia?
I just call it Nokia.
I think I say
never say
Nokia.
either.
No.
Nokia?
No, we're no's over here in the in the
No
this
to
part of the
Nokia.
world.
Wow. Like, what's wrong with Kias? It's a perfectly fine car.
It is.
Yeah, they're very
What's the problem with
reliable.
that?
Korean
Yeah.
and reliable, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I'm very confused.
so along with the press conference, the Microsoft Theater will also host various Xbox Fan Fest activities, hands-on gameplay and demos for attendees, and more throughout E3. Microsoft promises this new venue will allow the company to, quote, include even more fans and partners in the Xbox E3 2018 briefing than ever before.
And so the people getting out of the convention center just keeps on continuing.
Man,
Yeah, except
LA
they're
Live
still
is going to
in.
be mobbed.
Well, Mixer is going to have a booth there.
yeah,
which
there's
should be cool.
their space is still there.
Yeah.
They're just not using it seemingly for Xbox games. Or it's
imagine-
Mixer. I don't
It's
even
going to
know.
be it's going to be Mixer dedicated, so you can go hands on, and you can stream
Right,
and
that's
all that. So they're going to
I
have
can't
strict,
imagine they'll use the whole of the space that they normally have for a Mixer booth.
maybe it'll be like a 50-50. Well, I believe that every station probably is going to have Mixer integration, right?
I would believe
Just
that.
thinking about how it's set up in the past. I don't know if that means it'll be less booths for people to go hands on with,
Well, I
or
mean, EA's
if the theater will
seems-
be the hands on
EA's
location.
offsite,
Hollywood.
Activision's offsite. Like, they're all just like spreading out and getting out of the convention center.
Yeah.
As
Very
the fans
They're
getting into the
E3
convention
adjacent.
center. Weird.
Yeah, that's strange. Now the way you put that's, I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more stories. We are running very long on time here. The former Halo 4 creative director, who was also the studio head on Halo 5, that's of course being Josh Holmes. He left a while back and is now a new studio and a new project that he's announced along with his new team. It's called Scavengers. The multiplayer survival shooter comes from Midwinter Entertainment and features similar elements from Halo 5's Warzone mode. Scavengers is utilizing the Unreal Engine and a cloud-based platform, blah, blah, blah. Holmes says, quote, when we introduced Warzone in Halo 5, it represented the pinnacle of blended PvE/PvP. Now we have the ability to push the boundaries of co-opetition gameplay in Scavengers with teams of players competing as armies of smart AI move intelligently across the map, hunting down players and each other. It's set in the near future during a new ice age, appropriate for a studio named Midwinter, I guess. They say the multiplayer game will mix exploration, survival, and combat. That means each game will see you fighting and teaming up with other humans, picking up resources and facing off against various AI foes. In fact, there will be, quote, hundreds of free-roaming and highly sophisticated AI enemies with distinct factions, weapons, and behaviors.
So it's like
Interesting.
I'm in.
AZ on crack.
Yeah. Well, I was
as
thinking.
we look at Halo
I really
5
liked
Warzone.
Warzone.
here.
I was
It was so
thinking
fun.
it sounds very similar to like Destiny's open exploration modes, but, with other teams jumping in. You
Well,
can all,
just because of Battle Royale, that's kind of what I was assuming was that they'll make it DayZ or H1Z1, but not zombies. So it's still like an open world survival thing that's Battle Royale-ish, but not. But it doesn't say that explicitly. Just assuming.
I don't know. The coin they the term that they coined was co-opetition.
Yeah.
I think it is, which is super cute. But I don't know. I get Destiny vibes from it. I watched their little their vid doc, and it seems cool. It looks
Sounds
interesting. I'm
Yeah, we'll be
interested.
keeping an eye on this one for sure. Hey, let's talk a little more Sea of Thieves because we do that almost every week, much to the delight of me. Rare is giving away actual golden bananas. If you've played in any of the betas, you know that you eat bananas for health. Well, they're giving away golden bananas to promote Sea of Thieves. It's going to be a global digital treasure hunt called The Quest, where participants have a chance to win one of 4 real UK hallmarked 18-karat golden bananas.
Incredible.
So cool.
London goldsmith Smith and Harris has crafted 4 golden bananas, each valued at 20,000 pounds, which is about $30,000
Yeah.
at the present exchange rate, and modeled after the health item in Sea of Thieves. The quest will begin this coming Monday, March 19th, pardon me, at 1 p.m. You're going to have to take over, Brandon,
1
because
a.m. PT.
somebody has
With
to
the
take
release
over.
of a riddle.
Yes.
One.
Yeah, we'll just
Popcorn.
Jeez.
There are a total of 15 riddles to solve, with a new clue released every 3 to 4 hours over 3 days. Then on Wednesday, March 21st, participants will have 7 hours to submit their answers to the riddles. The riddles will be scattered online and across various real-world locations, including London, UK, Key West, Florida, Sydney, Australia, Paris, France, Berlin, Germany, and Victoria, Canada. The clues can be found digitally as well. The first team from each eligible country, US, Canada, UK, France, Germany, and Australia, to answer the riddles correctly will then move on to the semifinals and answer one final riddle on March 22nd.
Can we get an expense trip to
all of
of
these
these places?
places.
well, Key West would be great this time of year.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be.
I feel like they're all
chill
great
down in
places.
Florida.
All of these places are places I like.
I'm down to go to any of these places, especially Paris.
Yeah.
It's still
wanna-
the weather's still nice in Australia right now, right? Hasn't
summer
It's
there.
warm, yeah.
Yeah,
Getting cooler, so it's probably nice right now.
I've never been. I need an excuse.
Yeah.
Go
let's
Pax Oz.
Uh,
It's a good place.
Okay, I believe you.
It's pretty great.
My
Flying over
allergies are
there.
just relentlessly congested.
So this is awesome.
this is not good today.
We probably can't do it as cool as it would be to shoot like us trying to go on the hunt thing, but
I mean, we literally have an office in every one of these countries.
we do.
What's that CBS
in
show
Germany.
where they go around
There's
the
an
world?
IG in Germany.
There's an IG in Germany, I think.
Oh, well, technically, yes.
Not
Yeah,
ours.
partner.
That reality
Partner,
show
yeah.
wasn't it the same
Amazing
one?
Grace?
That, no. Yeah, that one. What the one that
You run around the world?
Rooster Teeth people were on.
Oh, yeah, that's
that
Amazing
Bernie
Grace.
and Ashley
Amazing
were
Race.
on.
Oh, I had
Amazing
no idea
Grace.
they were on that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, last season I think.
There was a YouTuber version.
Yeah, there was.
Of course there was.
Yeah, they had influencers on, and they were on there. Did they? I don't think they won.
Very
Did they
They
win?
did not win. No.
won? I
R.I.P. I don't know. I think it was some models or something. I don't know. But this sounds cool as hell. It would be cool to film it. And I'm sure we'll try and cover this as best we can, but we don't know exactly what it means right now. But I love this. I think this is awesome and very exciting. And I can't wait to see who wins. It's very
Excellent.
fun.
Well, I'm going to skip the rest of these few other news bits because we're just so long on time here. Nothing else major in the news. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire
Oh.
pushed back from April 3rd to May 8th.
We got to talk about this.
You want to? All right, we'll do the. Okay, Entertainment Weekly reports that Jeff Goldblum will return as Dr. Ian Malcolm. You just wanted to do that.
I did.
Pretty cool.
He's going to play Dr. Malcolm in Jurassic World Evolution, the park management sim that's coming out. I believe that's out in June alongside the film.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Of course, for
Park
Xbox
management,
One and
yeah.
other platforms.
Those are fun.
Goldblum says, quote, "I am going to be with you the whole game as Dr. Ian Malcolm." That's the
Kind of
character
a
that
weird
I
way to
play.
say.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
Well, he's an interesting guy.
He's a
Yeah.
cool guy.
I love him. so
the character I play in those Jurassic Park movies. I highly recommend it. It gets 10 Goldblums out of a possible 10 Goldblums. That's my highest rating.
Go watch him deliver these lines. Like go watch the little teaser. It's
I
fantastic.
can't do it justice. Yeah, it seems like he's probably either going to be the narrator
Yeah.
or some sort of like it won't be.
Game guide or
Yeah, he'll be a VO.
Total War's got a guy that talks to you the entire game.
I'm going to play the hell out of this game.
Yeah, me too, man. I cannot wait to
I
grow some dinos.
very
dinos.
very much want this game to be good because I appreciate that it's not just a generic action game.
Yeah.
That it's actually
Look at that beauty
a
shot.
strategy.
Have I told you guys
Sounds like
before
so-
how much of a monster I turned into playing Zoo Tycoon on Xbox One?
Oh, I can imagine you.
Yeah.
I became a monster because I was hunting the achievements, and it was actually a pretty fun game to achievement hunt in, but you have to like breed animals, and I would be like, why aren't you mating? And I was just like sitting there like
You
making
too,
them breed,
now.
like putting them in the right pen, literally just selling them off if they weren't breeding and buying a new one. I turned into this crazy person because I was like, I need these achievements.
You were a Zoo Tycoon pimp.
I was. And I was like very frustrated, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, they're related, damn it. And
Please
I
just
would, like
be
move-
Oh,
Yeah, it was
you gotta,
bad.
you gotta,
It was
you gotta do your research.
To the
It's pretty
dinos.
good.
Oh,
It's pretty
my
gross.
goodness.
Yeah, no, these are so fun. Park management stuff, just those kind of simulation games are just so satisfying to just dig into and relax with as well. Unless you're going the Alana route.
Oh, I'm
just get
totally gonna
very
achievement
into
hunt in it again. They're like my favorite games to achievement hunt in is like management sims.
Yeah,
like it's
they're
just
so
so much
good.
fun.
Well,
Yeah.
if the game's bad, the review strapline writes itself.
That's
Go on.
That is one big pile of shit. But hopefully it won't be. Oh, but I really do want.
It looks cool.
if it's good, you could say spared no expense.
Maybe.
All right, well, it's not a. They can't all be winners.
I'll bet we could find something from
Yeah.
the film though. To
I'm sure we
plug
could.
in there.
I'm sure we could.
All right. That's it for the news this week.
so much.
Alana Pierce.
I don't have my attached sheet.
I forgot. I'll go get it while you
Oh, man.
do marketplace report.
Marketplace report, March Games with Gold. We still have Trials of the Blood Dragon March 1st to 31st on Xbox One. Super hot.
Super hot.
Thank
like
you.
someone's
I
gonna do
paused
it.
for super hot. March 16 to April 15 on Xbox One. Brave, March 1st to 15 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. So that one's almost over.
These are the exact same as last week.
Yeah, and then Quantum Conundrum, March 16 to 31 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. Super Hot continues to be awesome. I think I gave that a 7.5, and that's one of my regrets. I think I scored that game too low, which is like a thing that I feel like everyone has. It's like, I overlooked it. Quantum Conundrum's awesome, though.
Yeah, no changes, but good games.
Yeah.
All
Just
continue
don't
to
forget
be good games.
to download those games before
Before they're
you can't download
gone.
them anymore.
And I totally know the answer to the trivia question.
Do you really?
I totally do.
I've narrowed it down to 2.
Not.
Okay.
I feel like I know this one. Like I've heard it before, but
Lots of stuff out
I'm
this
not
week.
confident.
Stuff we have out this week, thank you, Ryan, is Beast Quest, March 13. It's up to you to save the kingdom of Avantia in Beast Quest. It's an action-packed fantasy adventure. Pure Farming 2018 explains itself. Devil May Cry HD Collection, March 13. That's pretty awesome.
Another remaster from Capcom.
Doesn't
it must be
include
Tuesday.
DMC. Well, maybe that means there's a new Devil May Cry on the way.
I hope so.
The Council Episode 1, The Mad Ones. That's a unique take on the classic narrative adventure game.
Oh, actually, wait a minute. You might be onto something there because they added a Devil May Cry outfit to Monster Hunter this week.
Yeah, I would bet money that we get a new Devil.
And they added a monster called Devil Joe. So,
Unrelated, he's been in the series
Coincidence?
for a while, but
hey, just lots of devils. There's lots of devils.
what devil appeared again? The Raven Remastered, March 13, London, 1964. Oh, I'm already on board. Constable Anton Jacob Zellner finds himself in the middle of a murder mystery. All right, playing the hell out of that. QUBE2, you're Amelia Cross, a stranded archaeologist.
Cube. Cube.
It's, I mean, yeah?
Quebec.
Kobe. I like that. Sounds Lara Crofty. Spiral Platter, March 13, problem solving. You got puzzles. The Long Reach, March 14, is a thrilling horror adventure game. Also on board. Surviving Mars, March 15, which is Xbox One enhanced.
I actually
Survive
played
on
that.
Mars.
Looks real cool.
Yeah?
If you like City Builders, check it out.
Burnout Paradise Remastered. Sorry, Ryan. March 16th, Xbox One enhanced.
Hold on. Did you say Burnout 3 Takedown Remastered, Alana?
No.
I did not. No. Tesla vs. Lovecraft. What? March
Wait,
16, Xbox
I've
One
heard
X
of that.
enhanced.
It's a boxing game where it's Nikola Tesla just
It's
and H.P. Lovecraft just fighting. No, I'm kidding.
It's a showdown
I
of
would
epic
not- I don't
proportions.
know. Maybe.
Seems like maybe a shooter, local co-op up to 4 players.
Oh, he probably like has electricity guns and fights Lovecraftian monsters.
Kind of what it sounds like, yeah.
Cool.
But it being local co-op for up to 4 players sounds cool. Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse, otherwise known as VALA. It's March 16. Take control of an endless supply of mechs to fight off the llama hordes and defeat the llama.
Oh, the llamas.
Wow, a lot of these games sound great.
We work in a real weird industry.
I love that.
Um,
And that's it.
Creativity.
excellent. All right, let's do trivia real quick here. So we've got Patrick, whose gamer tag is Taco Tuesday.
Taco
816.
Tuesday.
Respect.
He asks, on the original Xbox dashboard, there was an ambient noise playing in the background. I've listened to probably thousands of hours of that because we would just at OXM we'd just have they'd just be on all the time. It'd just be sitting there. The ambient noises were modified audio recordings of what? Was it A, public NASA transmissions, B, a coffee shop in New York, C, a local restaurant in Alpine, Texas, or D, declassified FBI surveillance recordings? Who thinks they know it?
I totally know it.
Totally know it?
You know, I know what they sound like, so I have a guess.
What does it sound like?
I don't want to
Please
do it
try.
because I don't.
Oh,
All
true.
right, I'll go Miranda's
I want
way
to hear
first
someone
then.
mimic it.
This one I might completely.
No, it doesn't sound like
bump
that.
No, I said I was gonna sound like. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna go with C because I'm from Texas.
Okay.
Hey.
All
That's
right.
my reasoning there.
Brandon, I'll go your way now.
Okay, so it sounded like.
Yeah, you're pretty much
I
spot
kind
on.
of think it was. I'm leaning more towards A or D, but I'm just gonna go with C because it's been a while since I've chose C.
So I feel like getting your hands on declassified FBI surveillance recordings is probably harder than just going to NASA.gov and finding public transmissions. So I'm going to go with A.
Okay.
It's A.
It is, in fact, A.
right.
Yeah, they're
Texas,
public-
you let me down.
Let me down, Texas.
All right, that means we have Miranda tie. Actually, no, we have a three-way tie.
Ooh.
It is 4-4.
Damn.
Oh, it happened finally.
It got exciting.
We're building suspense. For
It's
the end of
only
the year.
March, friends.
Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh.
Well,
I'm
we do
so
have a long
nervous
way
about
to
next
go.
week
we all
already.
we all also travel a lot for our jobs.
I am okay.
so.
This is the only day this entire week that I'm in office, and I was like, "Oh yes!" It's like next week's
didn't-
probably going to be pretty similar.
I didn't see you Monday or Tuesday, and then I saw your hair from across the room when
Yeah.
you walked in, and I was like, unlock.
Next week, by the way, we have a special guest here, so I need to check schedules and see because we're gonna have to shoot on Monday.
that-
I'll talk off.
Oh,
air.
I'll be out Monday.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
I think
that,
you already knew that.
maybe, but anyway, that sort of works.
It's the one I'm thinking of. Y'all should be very excited.
Yeah.
It's Xbox related. Of course.
What?
I know, right?
Irrelevant.
No.
You mean this isn't Unloaded, the IGN first-person shooter podcast?
Whoops.
Well, now you have to make that.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Congratulations.
doing it. I'm not doing it.
Now, if you want to try and stump the panel here with a trivia question, please email unlocked@ign.com. I can't believe people ask me on Twitter, what's the email address again? I only literally say it every single show.
It's very forgettable.
Unlocked@ign.com. Please include your trivia question that's Xbox related. Include 4 multiple choice answers, and please note the correct one in your email. And we'll play again next
But no more obscure which game was in this movie from
no more TV shows or
From
movies.
1999.
Yeah, we're done with those. So thanks in advance. Let's hit the road here. We got to go. Lots to get to today. Miranda, you reviewed Tomb Raider. We can read that review on IGN.
Yes, and I have worked with Tom Marks on a ton of coverage on Artifact, which is Valve's new game.
Wait, huh?
Yeah.
Into my
Valve
good
made
ear,
a new
please.
game.
One of the most interesting parts of that to me was a snippet that you guys posted on Instagram of Gabe Newell saying something along the lines of, "We've always been jealous of Nintendo."
Yeah.
Yes,
And I was like, "Whoa, what?"
I have more of that coming. So much follow-up coverage. There was no embargo for this event, so we were just like rushing to get
Scrambling,
anything out. And we're still trying to do that, but I'm also trying to juggle Tomb Raider coverage. So I have more Tomb Raider coverage coming as well. We have some features going up. So if you're curious about more of that, keep an eye on IGN and please check out our Artifact coverage and play Dota 2. 'cause
Super
it's a
big
good
shout
game.
out too, because it's not like you got there at
Thanks.
9, had a cup of coffee, and then
Yeah.
you got there at 4. It ran till 7, and then you were writing till
No,
2
it
a.m.
ran
Guys
till
did a
like 10.
stream, and you've been
Yeah, so it's
doing a good
been-
job of that. You and Tom Marks, right?
Yeah, so it's been a crazy week so far. So please check out our coverage, and I'd really appreciate it if
And
you
we
did.
can follow you on Twitter.
It's at Havoc Rose, and it's Havoc with a K.
Excellent. Alana?
I am at Charles Anazad on all of the social networks. Latest episode of my podcast that I have with Marty just went out with Joey Noel from Kind of Funny, so you can check that out. It's called Red Lips Orange Car, and it's very silly. Work related. Obviously, my Ready Player One review went up, but I also was at South by Southwest this weekend and went to a recreation of Westworld in
So
real life. It's incredibly cool. I wrote over 1,000 words about it. You don't have to read them all, but check out the gallery. The article's up on IGN right now, just about. It's just they really created the park in real life, and it was awesome. Definitely check that out.
You went grave robbing. You went.
Did.
You were talking to hosts. You were
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff.
It was super cool. There was like mail for me when I got there at the post office, and
Was
yeah,
it's like actually just a big patch of Texas, and you were just
Yeah.
like stomping around in there?
yeah.
That's
And then
so
they
cool.
broke it all down on Monday, and it would have cost them millions of dollars. Like there was 66 actors, and the script that they had, because there were a lot of recurring events,
Yeah.
was 444 pages long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane. It was just amazing.
Wow.
It was made by the same people who made the Blade Runner experience at SDCC, if any of you went to that, which was also one of the best things I've ever
I remember Brian Altano's photos from that.
Oh, it was
Yeah, I was so
beautiful.
sad that I didn't get to go, but I only lived it through other people in conversation.
Very,
I didn't
very
even
cool.
know it was there. I was there last year.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then this weekend, I'm very excited to be hosting the South by Southwest Gaming Awards. So that is streaming Saturday night. I'm not sure if it's streaming on IGN. It's definitely streaming on South by Southwest's Twitch. So that'll be, I think it's the last gaming awards of the year before GDC. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
also, March.
Wait, isn't GDC's next week?
yeah,
So you said last gaming
before
awards
GDC.
of
Yeah.
the year before GDC.
GDC
So it's like this
GDC
one's on
starts
Saturday,
on
and then the
Monday or
GDC one is
Tuesday?
next Saturday.
Oh,
Because it's like the GDC awards as well. So it's like, and then we're done, and there's no more. It's BAFTA done yet? Like, I don't even know. There's too many.
You remember when we used to do our Game of the Year awards in January and we thought that was too late?
Yeah.
all right.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Please keep an eye on our ongoing State of Decay 2 coverage. Brandon's working super hard on that. And it's just super cool to get to be, this is all exclusive.
Yeah.
Like no one's seen this game except us, and we're just super stoked to share it all with you guys. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
And
like
take us
Ryan
home.
said, I'm going to be leaving here to go make more cool State of Decay stuff for you. I'm Brandon Tyrell on Twitter, Brandon with an I, Tyrell with 2 R's and 1 L. And that's it. We got a lot.
Kicking us out now.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we
So
got to
they're
get out of
kicking
this
us out
one.
now.
Are they really? Okay, yeah.
we'll
We
get
got a lot
this
coming
out.
out. Sea of Thieves review. Stay tuned next week for the makings of that. And then, thanks.
Yeah, special guest next week. Hope you enjoy that. So we will see you next week.
Thank you.